One of the more underappreciated aspects of My Hero Ultra Rumble is how accurately all the characters are portrayed. A lot of them have moves taken directly from the source material, and even those that don't still manage to fulfill the character fantasy through their playstyle and general game feel. Let's take Hiroshima for example.
Coming through!
Okay, maybe not everyone. That's why today, we're going to take a handful of characters and rate them based on how accurate they are to the anime and manga. If you enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. I've been experimenting with more commentary style videos, and we've nearly hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers, so all support is appreciated. Let's start with everyone's favorite character, as well as the most accurate character in the game, One For All Deku. Now, I know he was crazy broken on release, but in a way, that kind of adds to his accuracy. This battle style is based on Deku's appearance from the latter half of Season 6 to the end of the series, the height of his character strength-wise, so it's kind of cool to see that represented in-game. On top of that, every single part of his moveset is a direct reference to the anime. As I said earlier, one-to-one references aren't required for a character to be accurate in my eyes, but I still generally prefer it when anime games go this route, as opposed to making stuff up, something we'll be seeing a lot of later. The only real inaccuracy with this kit is how Gearshift doesn't have any drawbacks. The heavy blowback was something Deku had to be mindful of each time he used the quirk in the anime, so it's weird not seeing that represented here. Especially since, I don't know, they already did something similar with Ida. But whatever. Let's finally talk about the guy in the thumbnail, ShigarakI. Now, there are 3 versions of Shiggy in this game, and I actually don't have any problems with 2 of them. The strike variation is based on his post My Villain Academia appearance, where his decay gained the ability to spread, and the tech variation is based on his appearance in the final war, with all the fingers. So that begs the question, what is Assault Shiggy based on? Is it the PLW where he makes use of a bunch of All For One's quirks? Or maybe he's a more melee-centric variation based on his early appearances. They do love reusing stuff from the One's Justice games after all. What do you mean the nigga throws rocks? He ain't never did that move. Real talk though, I don't actually mind this character. I like what it brings to the table gameplay-wise, and throwing an object as it's decaying is a really creative application of the quirk. It's just not something Shiggy has ever done in the show. Which, again, isn't a bad thing. I already said I like it. But it gets all the more confusing when you realize the Battlestar released before it is a perfect adaptation of Season 4 Deku, even integrating some manga content, and the one released immediately after it is just a straight-up better Bakugo than his base version. So we've looked at a character who's what I'd consider the pinnacle of accuracy, as well as one who's technically inaccurate, but the stuff they do is well within their capabilities. Now, what about one where everything about them is completely made up? Yeah, I ain't forget about your ass. Now, Strike Hiroshima is a character where I have no idea what they're going for. I mean, let's think for a sec. What are the key attributes of the GOAT, Red Riot? I'd say he's the ultimate sword and shield. His hardening provides nigh unbreakable defense, while also greatly enhancing his offense. And to that, I'd say they mostly nailed it with his assault variation. Mostly. The only gripe I have is that they lean a little too hard in the sword direction, not really giving him any defensive options. I'm not really counting the special action because I see it more as a tool to help him brawl more effectively. Think Emma Frost's diamond form in Marvel Rivals. This is the second video where I brought up Emma Frost. And on that note, Strike Hiroshima's beta is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. I honestly wish they'd have given this yellow Kiri in place of whatever his alpha is supposed to be. Speaking of alphas, I don't need to tell you what's wrong with this. Okay, the beta is good, the alpha is bad. What about the gamma? Nigga, he's throwing rocks again! I mean, Kirishima's built. I don't doubt that he could throw a boulder, but why is he throwing a boulder? Is there anyone else who does this? You don't count. You actually did this in the show. You're pushing it, but there's not much to go off of. You! So to fully see how inaccurate support overhaul is, we need to compare him to what came after, the assault variation. If I were making a tier list, I'd put yellow overhaul right at the top of blue Deku. Every one of his moves is a reference, and they perfectly captured his character fantasy. Like Tech Shiggy, it really feels like you're piloting a boss character. But like I said, he released way later. So what did the original look like? Alright, rock throwing ran over. Let's look at another character.
I'm Toga!
Yeah, you are. So Toga's quirk allows her to transform into people whose blood she's consumed, and yeah, she can do that in-game. The only downside was that she was unable to use their quirks. That is, until her own quirk awakened in Season 5, and she gained the ability to use the quirks of two people she loved very much, Ochaku Uraraka and Twice. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I did not say President Mike.
Crank it to 11!
So yeah, Toga can use the quirks of any and everyone in this game, which, as I've said many times now, isn't an issue at all. It's a video game. It'd be lame if she could only use two characters' moves, but it is funny how the quirk's most important caveat goes completely ignored. Here's another character with a similar issue, Monoma. Damn, they really have a thing against copy characters, huh? Monoma's quirk is pretty simple. If he touches you, then he can use your quirk for 10 minutes. That part's well represented with the special action. Shout out to the homie Verse for teaching me that. However, like Toga, he has some limitations. For starters, he's unable to use multiple quirks at once or in rapid succession, as there's a 10-second cooldown when swapping between them. This just isn't the case in Ultra Rumble. He also isn't able to copy stockpiling quirks like Ares Rewind, or One For All. Why is he using One For All? Now, unlike Toga's, I actually do wish this limitation was depicted in-game. Why, you may ask? I mean, why not? There are 35 characters in this game not named Izuku Midoriya. With all those possible combinations, it's not like keeping One For All as a dud would make him a worse character balance-wise. It'd just be a fun reference to make superfans like me smile. Alright, one last character. Or two, since we're doing both battle styles. Dabi. Now, this one kind of irritates me personally, since he's one of my favorite characters, but let's start with Strike Dabi, since he's far less egregious. One of the most notable and slandered aspects of Dabi is how by using his quirk, he is actively damaging his own body. Unlike most of the drawbacks we've discussed, this was actually translated perfectly in-game in the form of his Gamma. However, that's where my praises end, as this, along with his special action quite literally representing his hatred which kept him alive, are the only accurate things across both styles. Oh, and his beta is from when he hugged Shoto that one time, I guess. Tech Dabi. His Gamma, sure. His beta, I don't like it, but if they really insisted on having a trap character, I don't know who else they could have picked, so sure. His Alpha. His primary fire. Now, before we look at this, let's think back on all the times Dabi has ever attacked someone in the show. How did he do it? Now let's see the game.
I'll light you up. Can you dodge this?
What are we doing, bro? This isn't even the same character at this point. Now, yes, I know this move originated in the One's Justice games, but you know what else did? Anyways, that's all I got for y'all today. I know I mainly talked about inaccuracies in this video, but don't let that fool you. For the most part, the team at Bike can consistently do an amazing job depicting each character. A compliment shared across all their games, really. I just find that there's more to discuss with these few outliers. Let me know in the comments if I missed anyone, or if you'd like to see a follow-up video in the future. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.